So when they say ride or die, they literally mean ride to save your life or you're going to die. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of the Amazon Prime original series Ride or Die Season 1. This series is created by Tessa Coates. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Ride or Die. The first season, which premieres all at once, as Amazon Prime likes to do, basically is a story, at least in the first season, about two individuals, one played by Hannah Wadingham and one played by Octavia Spencer, who are good friends. They are in book clubs. They are your what would seem very typical, atypical women, females and stuff like that. And basically, as we learn, Hannah Wadingham's character is a spy assassin working for a place called the Agency, which is run by Bill Nighy's character. And Octavia Spencer is a wife of a diplomat, of course, of the British, constituent and stuff like that. Basically, they're good friends. And a kind of hit or a job that Hannah Wadingham's Judith character goes south. That is against Ed Skrein's character. And the two women, Judith and of course Debbie, the Spencer and Wadingham character, go on the run, chased by Interpol, chased by the Albanians, chased by the Agency, chased by characters played by Sylvia Hoeks, who has a history with the character, the Judith character. And it basically becomes a action spy thriller / buddy road trip comedy movie, or show, I should say, not movie, where of course Debbie's character learns that Hannah Wadingham's character is a spy. It causes rifts. And it becomes a whole big journey about these two characters and how they have to deal with that situation while dealing with a hit that went wrong. And then, of course, we have Calam, Lynch and Savannah Steyn, who play a weapons dealer. And, of course, Calam Lynch's character plays basically like the Q character, or somebody who works for the Agency that is kind of the handler for Judith's character. But it basically becomes this whole big mystery as it moves along, and things start to become, revelations start to happen. And it also, each episode, which is kind of nice, kind of gives you back history about Judith and Debbie's character that kind of spans into the modern day stories. So the trailers for this series looked pretty good, to be fairly honest. I was kind of intrigued. I love Octavia Spencer. I definitely love Hannah Wadingham, who of course was in Ted Lasso. This is a great lineup of individuals. You have Bill Nighy, Ed Skrein, Sylvia Hoeks, Savannah Steyn, Calam Lynch. They're all pretty talented individuals. You have a whole bunch of other cast members, but those are the main core cast that are in this series. Of course, you have members who have Interpol and then the Albanians and stuff like that. But it is these core individuals who kind of play out the story and kind of integral themselves into the 8-episode series. But it really focuses on Judith and Debbie, who are the main kind of lead characters of the story. They are the main protagonists. And it's interesting to watch, the story progress, but it has a great cast, and it has, talented crew, and it has talented directors that are working on it. It's executive produced by the Machetes, the Barbara and, of course, Andy Machete and David Ellison, and just a whole bunch of people are involved that either worked on this series or just kind of produced the series. But it looked fun, I mean, I'm up for a good action spy thriller series and stuff like that. So it leads into what I feel and what my honest take of this series. And I highly recommend this series, to be fairly honest. I think all 8 episodes are great. I think it actually has a great story to it. Once again, I was talking about in the synopsis, there are parts at the very beginning of each episode that give you back history, which is really well put together and very cohesive, and gives you just small snippets of like what you need to know about why certain characters are doing certain things, why Hannah Wadingham's character got into as an assassin working under Bill Nighy's character, why Debbie is the way she is. There are revelations that happen, especially with the Sylvia Hoeks character of Anna, who becomes kind of the main antagonist of the story. I love what they do with Ed Skrein's Billy Donovan character. I love what they do with Bill Nighy, who's very just mean and very kind of, you're going to do what you need to do, or we're going to do it for you, and you're not going to like it. And then you add in Queenie and Sam, who have a history together, which are the ones I was talking about with the weapons dealer and stuff like that. And just everything falls into place nicely. It's a very predictable show. You know exactly the beats that's going to happen, but it's fun. It's entertaining, and Tessa Coates has put together just a really fun, entertaining first season of a show. Like, the action is well put together. The storylines are well put together. You're never lost. Yes, once again, it goes down a predictable path of, like, Debbie finds out that Judith is a spy, and it leads to turmoil. When, like, stuff like the Interpol group comes in, the Albanians come in, it wraps itself into a very predictable but very fun show that has just great moments and great character development and great character arcs and actually surprising moments of, like, sadness and very heartfelt takes on these characters. And I just love every beat of it. It gives you a little bit of Bond. It gives you a little bit of, like, the espionage spy thrillers like the Jack Ryans and stuff like that. And it just does a nice job of just kind of equalizing everything. And you're watching these characters progress, and you're watching Debbie, who's a very headstrong individual, who's dealing with her husband, who is a corrupt businessman and a corrupt government official who gets entailed with the Albanians. And it leads into this really, really just fun, chaotic, just over the top, sometimes silly story. And it just plays out very well. And I love how, Bill Nighy's character, just the way he has a lot of love for the character that's played by Hannah Wadingham, but it also is a job, it's a responsibility, and he plays it, menacingly, and it's just really fun to watch. I love watching Calam Lynch's character kind of, like, try to take control, but also be kind of wet behind the ears and have issues, and just watching all that play out, it really is a lot of fun. And once again, each episode is paced pretty decently. It has the cliffhanger moments at the end of each episode, which makes you want to watch the next episode. It has great moments where Debbie has to make a decision, and it affects Judith's character, and it leads to revelations that Judith has to deal with, and Debbie has to deal with. But I love Debbie's husband, who's played by Jamie Parker, is such a slime ball and such a grease ball and who he is and what he is and his story and how he plays out. It's a lot of fun and energetic. And once again, you have Ed Skrein in there, who his story is really fascinating, just how it plays out and how it's not clear cut on what he is and who he is and how he affects Judith's character, and how, it leads into, like, the Sylvia Hoeks Anna character, who has a really interesting kind of, I don't want to spoil it too much, but kind of a little bit of Jason Bourne in a lot of respects. To be fairly honest, it just leads down some really interesting paths, and it's a really fun show. It's really well put together. It leads into some cliffhangery moments at the very end of the season that I want there to be a second season, but the problem is with these shows, because they're expensive. I'm sure this wasn't a cheap show to make, because it does take place in London, and, I think it takes place in Geneva. And so they may have used, like, different sets and stuff like that from different countries. But I'm hoping that this show gains a lot of traction when it comes to, like, who's watching it, because we see it time and time again where these great shows just get canceled. And so I'm hoping this is one that sticks around for at least another season if they can get it. But I had a lot of fun with this show. I really did. I think it's fun. I think it's entertaining. I think it has great moments. I think the cast is great. I think Debbie and Judith work well together. They have great chemistry together. I think the supporting cast behind them really do a nice job to flesh out this world. And I think it just has great moments. I think it's just a great show. So with that said, to kind of end this review on, without spoiling too much more, I guess you could say, I'm going to give this 8.5 out of 10. I think my only major issues is it's too predictable, to be fairly honest. I think it needs a little more oomph in the second season. It needs to go a little bit more different. I mean, it is a violent show. It is a lot of language in the show, but I think they could use a little more oomph to its storyline and a little more oomph to the arc. But I think it's a great show. I mean, it's fun and entertaining, and it's worth watching for 8 episodes. I mean, they're only like an hour a piece, and I think it's an easy breezy, fun, kind of over the top, silly show, but it has a lot of great moments and heart. And definitely works on the level that it's working on. So that's my take of the first season of Ride or Die. Highly recommend it, and definitely worth checking out. So yeah, there you go. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. In the comments below, what is your favorite spy espionage show, movie, whatever you want to say? Let me know why it is. And with that said, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, guys.